Part 2. Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow. Verse 142 to 252. Translated by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. Read by Tariq El-Amin. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer.
The fools among the people will say, what hath turned them from the Qibla to which they were used? Say, to Allah belong both east and west. He guideth whom he will to a way that is straight. Thus have we made of you an ummah justly balanced, that ye might be witnesses over the nations, and the messenger a witness over yourselves. And we appointed the Qibla to which thou wast used, only to test those who followed the messenger from those who had turned on their heels. Indeed, it was a change momentous, except to those guided by Allah. And never would Allah make your faith of no effect. For Allah is to all people most surely full of kindness, most merciful. We see the turning of thy face for guidance to the heavens. Now shall we turn thee to a Qibla that shall please thee. Turn then thy face in the direction of the sacred mosque. Wherever ye are, turn your faces in that direction. The people of the book know well that that is the truth from their Lord, nor is Allah unmindful of what they do. Even if thou wert to bring to the people of the book all the signs together, they would not follow thy Qibla, nor art thou going to follow their Qibla, nor indeed will they follow each other's Qibla. If thou, after the knowledge hath reached thee, wert to follow their vain desires, then wert thou indeed clearly in the wrong. The people of the book know this as they know their own sons, but some of them conceal the truth which they themselves know. The truth is from thy Lord, so be not at all in doubt. To each is a goal to which Allah turns him. Then strive together as in a race towards all that is good. Wheresoever ye are, Allah will bring you together, for Allah hath power over all things. From whensoever thou startest forth, turn thy face in the direction of the sacred mosque. That is indeed the truth from thy Lord, and Allah is not unmindful of what ye do. From whensoever thou startest forth, turn thy face in the direction of the sacred mosque. And whensoever ye are, turn your face thither, that there be no ground of dispute against you among the people, except those of them that are bent on wickedness. So fear them not, but fear me, and that I may complete my favors on you, and ye may consent to be guided. A similar favor have ye already received, and that we have sent among you a messenger of your own, rehearsing to you our signs, and sanctifying you, and instructing you in scripture and wisdom, and in new knowledge. Then do ye remember me, I will remember you. Be grateful to me, and reject not faith. O ye who believe, seek help with patient perseverance and prayer, for Allah is with those who patiently persevere. And say not of those who are slain in the way of Allah, they are dead. Nay, they are living, though ye perceive it not. Be sure we shall test you with something of fear and hunger, some loss in goods or lives or the fruits of your toil. But give glad tidings to those who patiently persevere, who say when afflicted with calamity, to Allah we belong, and to him is our return. They are those on whom descend blessings from Allah and mercy, and they are the ones that receive guidance. Behold, Safa and Marwa are among the symbols of Allah. So if those who visit the house in the season or at other times should compass them round, it is no sin in them. And if anyone obeyeth his own impulse to good, be sure that Allah is he who recognizeth and knoweth. Those who conceal the clear signs we have sent down, and the guidance after we have made it clear for the people in the book, on them shall be Allah's curse, and the curse of those entitled to curse, except those who repent and make amends and openly declare the truth. To them I turn, for I am oft returning, most merciful. Those who reject faith and die rejecting, On them is Allah's curse, and the curse of angels and of all mankind. They will abide therein. Their penalty will not be lightened, nor will respite be their lot. And your Allah is one Allah. There is no God but He, most gracious, most merciful. Behold, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, in the alternation of the night and the day, in the sailing of the ships through the ocean for the profit of mankind, in the rain which Allah sends down from the skies, and the life which He gives therewith to an earth that is dead, in the beasts of all kinds that He scatters through the earth, in the change of the winds and the clouds which they trail like their slaves between the sky and the earth. Here indeed are signs for a people that are wise. Yet there are men who take for worship others besides Allah, as equal with Allah. They love them as they should love Allah. But those of faith are overflowing in their love for Allah. If only the unrighteous could see, behold, they would see the penalty, that to Allah belongs all power, and Allah will strongly enforce the penalty. Then would those who are followed clear themselves of those who follow them. They would see the penalty, and all relations between them would be cut off. And those who followed would say, if only we had one more chance, we would clear ourselves of them as they have cleared themselves of us. Thus will Allah show them the fruits of their deeds as nothing but regrets, nor will there be a way for them out of the fire. O ye people, eat of what is on earth, lawful and good, and do not follow the footsteps of the evil one, for he is to you an avowed enemy. For he commands you what is evil and shameful, and that ye should say of Allah that of which ye have no knowledge. When it is said to them, follow what Allah hath revealed, they say, nay, we shall follow the ways of our fathers. What? Even though their fathers were void of wisdom and guidance? The parable of those who reject faith is as if one were to shout like a goat herd to things that listen to nothing but calls and cries, deaf, dumb, and blind. They are void of wisdom. O ye who believe, eat of the good things that we have provided for you, and be grateful to Allah if it is Him ye worship. He hath only forbidden you dead meat, and blood, and the flesh of swine, and that on which any other name hath been invoked besides that of Allah. But if one is forced by necessity, without willful disobedience, nor transgressing due limits, then is he guiltless, for Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. Those who conceal Allah's revelation in the book, and purchase for them a miserable price, they swallow into themselves naught but fire. Allah will not address them on the day of resurrection, nor purify them. Grievous will be their penalty. They are the ones who buy error in place of guidance, and torment in place of forgiveness. Ah, what boldness they show for the fire. Their doom is because Allah sent down the book in truth, but those who seek causes of dispute in the book are in a schism, far from the purpose. It is not righteousness that ye turn your faces towards east or west, but it is righteousness to believe in Allah and the last day, and the angels, and the book, and the messengers, to spend of your substance out of love for Him, for your kin, for orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarer, for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves, to be steadfast in prayer, and practice regular charity, to fulfill the contracts which ye have made, and to be firm and patient in pain or suffering and adversity, and throughout all periods of panic. Such are the people of truth, the Allah-fearing. O ye who believe, the law of equality is prescribed to you in cases of murder, the free for the free, the slave for the slave, the woman for the woman. But if any remission is made by the brother of the slain, then grant any reasonable demand, and compensate him with handsome gratitude. This is a concession and a mercy from your Lord. After this, whoever exceeds the limits shall be in grave penalty. In the law of equality, there is saving of life to you, O ye men of understanding. that ye may restrain yourselves. It is prescribed, when death approaches any of you, if he leaves any goods, that he make a bequest to parents and next of kin, according to reasonable usage. This is due from the Allah-fearing. If anyone changes the bequest after hearing it, the guilt shall be on those who make the change, for Allah hears and knows all things. But if anyone fears partiality or wrongdoing on the part of the testator, and makes peace between the parties concerned, there is no wrong in him, for Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed to you, as it was prescribed to those before you, that ye may learn self-restraint. Fasting for a fixed number of days, but if any of you is ill or on a journey, the prescribed number should be made up from days later. For those who can do it with hardship is a ransom, the feeding of one that is indigent. But he that will give more of his own free will, it is better for him. And it is better for you that ye fast, if ye only knew. Ramadan is the month in which was sent down the Quran as a guide to mankind. Also clear signs for guidance and judgment between right and wrong. So every one of you who is present at his home during that month should spend it in fasting. But if anyone is ill or on a journey, the prescribed period should be made up by days later. Allah intends every facility for you. He does not want to put to difficulties. He wants you to complete the prescribed period, and to glorify him in that he has guided you, and perchance ye shall be grateful. When my servants ask thee concerning me, I am indeed close to them. I listen to the prayer of every suppliant when he calleth on me. Let them also with a will listen to my call, and believe in me, that they may walk in the right way. Permitted to you on the night of the fasts is the approach to your wives. They are your garments, and ye are their garments. Allah knoweth what ye used to do secretly among yourselves, but he turned to you and forgave you. So now associate with them, and seek what Allah hath ordained for you, and eat and drink until the white thread of dawn appear to you distinct from its black thread. Then complete your fast till the night appears, but do not associate with your wives while ye are in retreat in the mosques. Those are limits set by Allah. Approach not nigh thereto. Thus doth Allah make clear his signs to men, that they may learn self-restraint. And do not eat up your property among yourselves for vanities, nor use it as bait for the judges, with intent that ye may eat up wrongfully and knowingly a little of other people's property. They ask thee concerning the new moons. Say, they are but signs to mark fixed periods of time in the affairs of men, and for pilgrimage. It is no virtue if ye enter your houses from the back. It is virtue if ye fear Allah. Enter houses through the proper doors, and fear Allah, that ye may prosper. Fight in the cause of Allah those who fight you, but do not transgress limits, for Allah loveth not transgressors. And slay them wherever ye catch them, and turn them out from where they have turned you out, for tumult and oppression are worse than slaughter. But fight them not at the sacred mosque, unless they first fight you there. But if they fight you, slay them. Such is the reward of those who suppress faith. But if they cease, Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. And fight them on until there is no more tumult or oppression, and there prevail justice and faith in Allah. But if they cease, let there be no hostility except to those who practice oppression. The prohibited month for the prohibited month, and so for all things prohibited. There is the law of equality. If then anyone transgresses the prohibition against you, transgress ye likewise against him. But fear Allah, and know that Allah is with those who restrain themselves. And spend of your substance in the cause of Allah, and make not your own hands contribute to your destruction. But do good, for Allah loveth those who do good. And complete the Hajj or Umrah in the service of Allah. But if ye are prevented from completing it, send an offering for sacrifice, such as ye may find, And do not shave your heads until the offering reaches the place of sacrifice. And if any of you is ill or has an ailment in his scalp necessitating shaving, he should in compensation either fast or feed the poor or offer sacrifice. And when you are in peaceful conditions again, if anyone wishes to continue the Umrah on to the Hajj, he must make an offering such as he can afford. But if he cannot afford it, he should fast 3 days during the Hajj and 7 days on his return, making 10 days in all. This is for those whose household is not in the precincts of the sacred mosque. And fear Allah, and know that Allah is strict in punishment. For Hajj are the months well known. If anyone undertakes that duty therein, let there be no obscenity, nor wickedness, nor wrangling in the Hajj. And whatever good ye do, be sure Allah knoweth it, and take a provision with you for the journey. But the best of provisions is right conduct. So fear me, O ye that are wise. It is no crime in you if ye seek of the bounty of your Lord during pilgrimage. Then when ye pour down from Mount Arafat, celebrate the praises of Allah at the sacred monument, and celebrate the praises as He has directed you, even though before this ye went astray. Then pass on at a quick pace from the place whence it is usual for the multitude so to do, and ask for Allah's forgiveness, for Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. So when ye have accomplished your holy rites, celebrate the praises of Allah, as ye used to celebrate the praises of your fathers, yea, with far more heart and soul. There are men who say, Our Lord, give us thy bounties in this world, but they will have no portion in the hereafter. And there are men who say, Our Lord, give us good in this world, and good in the hereafter, and defend us from the torment of the fire. To these will be allotted what they have earned, and Allah is quick in account. Celebrate the praises of Allah during the appointed days, but if anyone hastens to leave in 2 days, there is no blame on him, and if anyone stays on, there is no blame on him, if his aim is to do right. Then fear Allah, and know that ye will surely be gathered unto Him. There is the type of man whose speech about this world's life may dazzle thee, and he calls Allah to witness about what is in his heart, yet is he the most contentious of enemies. When he turns his back, his aim everywhere is to spread mischief through the earth and destroy crops and cattle. But Allah loveth not mischief. When it is said to him, Fear Allah, he is led by arrogance to more crime. Enough for him is hell, an evil bed indeed to lie on. And there is the type of man who gives his life to earn the pleasure of Allah, and Allah is full of kindness to His devotees. O ye who believe, enter into Islam wholeheartedly, and follow not the footsteps of the evil one, for he is to you an avowed enemy. If ye backslide after the clear signs have come to you, then know that Allah is exalted in power, wise. Will they wait until Allah comes to them in canopies of clouds, with angels in His train, and the question is thus settled? But to Allah do all questions go back for decision. Ask the children of Israel how many clear signs we have sent them. But if anyone, after Allah's favor has come to him, substitutes something else, Allah is strict in punishment. The life of this world is alluring to those who reject faith, and they scoff at those who believe. But the righteous will be above them on the day of resurrection, for Allah bestows His abundance without measure on whom He will.
Mankind was one single nation, and Allah sent messengers with glad tidings and warnings. And with them He sent the book and truth, to judge between people in matters wherein they differed. But the people of the book, after the clear signs came to them, did not differ among themselves except through selfish contumacy. Allah by His grace guided the believers to the truth, concerning that wherein they differed. For Allah guideth whom He will to a path that is straight. Or do ye think that ye shall enter the garden of bliss without such trials as came to those who passed away before you? They encountered suffering and adversity and were so shaken in spirit that even the messenger and those of faith who were with them cried, "When will come the help of Allah?" Ah, verily, the help of Allah is always near. They asked thee what they should spend in charity. Say, whatever ye spend that is good is for parents and kindred and orphans and those in want and for wayfarers, and whatever ye do that is good, Allah knoweth it well. Fighting is prescribed for you, and ye dislike it, but it is possible that ye dislike a thing which is good for you, and that ye love a thing which is bad for you, but Allah knoweth, and ye know not. They ask thee concerning fighting in the prohibited month. Say, fighting therein is a grave offense, but graver is it in the sight of Allah to prevent access to the path of Allah, to deny Him, to prevent access to the sacred mosque and drive out its members. Tumult and oppression are worse than slaughter, nor will they cease fighting you until they turn you back from your faith if they can. And if any of you turn back from their faith and die in unbelief, their works will bear no fruit in this life, and in the hereafter they will be companions of the fire and will abide therein. Those who believed and those who suffered exile and fought and strove and struggled in the path of Allah, they have the hope of the mercy of Allah, and Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. They ask thee concerning wine and gambling. Say, in them is great sin, and some profit for men, but the sin is greater than the profit. They ask thee how much they are to spend. Say, what is beyond your needs? Thus doth Allah make clear to you His signs, in order that ye may consider their bearings on this life and the hereafter. They ask thee concerning orphans. Say, the best thing to do is what is for their good. If ye mix their affairs with yours, they are your brethren, but Allah knows the man who means mischief from the man who means good. And if Allah had wished, He could have put you into difficulties. He is indeed exalted in power, wise. Do not marry unbelieving women, idolaters, until they believe. A slave woman who believes is better than an unbelieving woman, even though she allures you. Nor marry your girls to unbelievers until they believe. A man-slave who believes is better than an unbeliever, even though he allures you. Unbelievers do but beckon you to the fire, but Allah beckons by His grace to the garden of bliss and forgiveness, and makes His signs clear to mankind, that they may celebrate His praise. They ask thee concerning women's courses. Say, they are hurt and a pollution, so keep away from women in their courses, and do not approach them until they are clean. But when they have purified themselves, ye may approach them in any manner, time, or place ordained for you by Allah. For Allah loves those who turn to Him constantly, and He loves those who keep themselves pure and clean. Your wives are as a tilth unto you, so approach your tilth when or how ye will, but do some good act for your souls beforehand, and fear Allah, and know that ye are to meet Him in the hereafter, and give these good tidings to those who believe. And make not Allah's name an excuse in your oaths against doing good, or acting rightly, or making peace between persons, for Allah is one who heareth and knoweth all things. Allah will not call you to account for thoughtlessness in your oaths, but for the intention in your hearts, and He is oft forgiving, most forbearing. For those who take an oath for abstention from their wives, a waiting for 4 months is ordained. If then they return, Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. But if their intention is firm for divorce, Allah heareth and knoweth all things. Divorced women shall wait concerning themselves for 3 monthly periods, nor is it lawful for them to hide what Allah hath created in their wombs, if they have faith in Allah in the last day. And their husbands have the better right to take them back in that period, if they wish for reconciliation. And women shall have rights similar to the rights against them, according to what is equitable. But men have a degree of advantage over them, and Allah is exalted in power, wise. A divorce is only permissible twice. After that, the parties should either hold together on equitable terms or separate with kindness. It is not lawful for you men to take back any of your gifts from your wives, except when both parties fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah. If ye judges do indeed fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah, there is no blame on either of them if she gives something for her freedom. These are the limits ordained by Allah, so do not transgress them. If any do transgress the limits ordained by Allah, such persons wrong themselves as well as others. So if a husband divorces his wife irrevocably, he cannot after that remarry her until after she has married another husband and he has divorced her. In that case, there is no blame on either of them if they reunite, provided they feel they can keep the limits ordained by Allah. Such are the limits ordained by Allah, which He makes plain to those who understand. When ye divorce women, and they fulfill the term of their iddah, either take them back on equitable terms, or set them free on equitable terms, but do not take them back to injure them or to take undue advantage. If anyone does that, he wrongs his own soul. Do not treat Allah's signs as a jest, but solemnly rehearse Allah's favors on you, and the fact that He sent down to you the book and wisdom for your instruction. And fear Allah, and know that Allah is well acquainted with all things. When ye divorce women, and they fulfill the term of their iddah, do not prevent them from marrying their former husbands if they mutually agree on equitable terms. This instruction is for all amongst you who believe in Allah and the last day. That is the course making for most virtue and purity amongst you, and Allah knows, and ye know not. The mothers shall give suck to their offspring for 2 whole years, if the father desires to complete the term, but he shall bear the cost of their food and clothing on equitable terms. No soul shall have a burden laid on it greater than it can bear. No mother can be treated unfairly on account of her child, nor father on account of his child. An heir shall be chargeable in the same way. If they both decide on weaning by mutual consent, and after due consultation, there is no blame on them. If ye decide on a foster mother for your offspring, there is no blame on you, provided ye pay the mother which ye offered, on equitable terms. But fear Allah, and know that Allah sees well all that ye do. If any of you die and leave widows behind, they shall wait concerning themselves 4 months and 10 days. When they have fulfilled their term, there is no blame on you if they dispose of themselves in a just and reasonable manner, and Allah is well acquainted with what ye do. There is no blame on you if ye make an offer of betrothal or hold it in your hearts. Allah knows that ye cherish them in your hearts, but do not make a secret contract with them, except in terms honorable, nor resolve on the tie of marriage till the term prescribed is fulfilled. And know that Allah knoweth what is in your hearts, and take heed of Him, and know that Allah is oft forgiving, most forbearing. There is no blame on you if you divorce women before consummation or the fixation of their dower, but bestow on them a suitable gift, the wealthy according to his means, and the poor according to his means. A gift of a reasonable amount is due from those who wish to do the right thing. And if ye divorce them before consummation, but after the fixation of a dower for them, then the half of the dower is due to them, unless they remit it, or the man's half is remitted by him in whose hands is the marriage tie. And the remission of the man's half is the nearest to righteousness. And do not forget liberality between yourselves, for Allah sees well all that ye do. Guard strictly your habit of prayers, especially the middle prayer, and stand before Allah in a devout frame of mind. If ye fear an enemy, pray on foot or riding, as may be most convenient. But when ye are in security, celebrate Allah's praises in the manner He has taught you, which ye knew not before. Those of you who die and leave widows should bequeath for their widows a year's maintenance and residence. But if they leave the residence, there is no blame on you for what they do with themselves, provided it is reasonable. And Allah is exalted in power, wise. For divorced women, maintenance should be provided on a reasonable scale. This is a duty on the righteous. Thus doth Allah make clear His signs to you, in order that ye may understand. Didst thou not turn thy vision to those who abandoned their homes, though they were thousands in number, for fear of death? Allah said to them, Die. Then He restored them to life, for Allah is full of bounty to mankind, but most of them are ungrateful. Then fight in the cause of Allah, and know that Allah heareth and knoweth all things. Who is he that will loan to Allah a beautiful loan, which Allah will double unto his credit, and multiply many times? It is Allah that giveth you want or plenty, and to Him shall be your return. Hast thou not turned thy vision to the chiefs of the children of Israel after the time of Moses? They said to a prophet that was among them, Appoint for us a king that we may fight in the cause of Allah. He said, Is it not possible, if you were commanded to fight, that you will not fight? They said, How could we refuse to fight in the cause of Allah, seeing that we were turned out of our homes and our families? But when they were commanded to fight, they turned back, except a small band among them. But Allah has full knowledge of those who do wrong. Their prophet said to them, Allah hath appointed Talut as king over you. They said, How can he exercise authority over us when we are better fitted than he to exercise authority? And he is not even gifted with wealth in abundance. He said, Allah hath chosen him above you, and hath gifted him abundantly with knowledge and bodily prowess. Allah granteth his authority to whom he pleaseth. Allah careth for all, and he knoweth all things. And further, their prophet said to them, A sign of his authority is that there shall come to you the ark of the covenant, with an assurance therein of security from your Lord, and the relics left by the family of Moses and the family of Aaron, carried by angels. And this is a symbol for you, if ye indeed have faith. When Talut set forth with the armies, he said, Allah will test you at the stream. If any drinks of its water, he goes not with my army. Only those who taste not of it go with me. A mere sip out of the hand is excused, but they all drank of it, except a few. When they crossed the river, he and the faithful ones with him, they said, This day we cannot cope with Goliath and his forces. But those who were convinced that they must meet Allah said, How oft by Allah's will hath a small force vanquished a big one. Allah is with those who steadfastly persevere. When they advanced to meet Goliath and his forces, they prayed, Our Lord, pour out constancy on us and make our steps firm. Help us against those that reject faith. By Allah's will, they routed them, and David slew Goliath, and Allah gave him power and wisdom and taught him whatever else he willed. And did not Allah check one set of people by means of another, the earth would indeed be full of mischief, but Allah is full of bounty to all the worlds. These are the signs of Allah. We rehearse them to thee in truth. Verily, thou art one of the messengers.
This concludes the reading for part 2. Surely Allah speaks the truth.